I'm Zoe Larkey. We are 9th grade students in Latin 1 at Montclair High School in Montclair, New Jersey. For our project for this year's convention, we wanted to make a video to promote classical studies of the language of Latin. In order to do this, we surveyed people in our community over the course of a week. Let's see how that went.
And culture of Latin is important to learn.
Yeah, I think so, because it's the basis of a lot of words.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that you understand and maybe learn the basics.
Like the derivatives, yeah.
Latin is important to learn.
Yes, because it's the basis of all language.
Do you think the language and culture of Latin is important to learn? Yeah. Do you think the language and culture of Latin is important?
Well, I would have said no, except that my son is taking Latin and he's in his 3rd year and he loves it so much, and he knows it's, I think, increased his verbal skills incredibly, and knowing the roots of words, and it's made him love language. So yes, I would say it's.
Do you think Latin is beneficial to high school students?
Oh, definitely. I think learning any language is beneficial.
Yeah.
Do you think Latin is beneficial to high school students?
Yes, it's for the same reason.
Yeah.
And do you think Latin is beneficial to high school students? Do you think Latin is beneficial to high school students?
I do.
Do you consider Latin to be a dead language?
Well, that's a term they use because it's no longer
Like you don't
in active
speak it,
use.
yeah.
Except, like I said, it's the origin of a lot of words. The root form of a word
Right.
comes from Latin.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I only consider. Well, do you want to answer any of these?
Sure. I'm of course a whole generation older, but I had 2 years of Latin in high school, and then decided that I got it confused. I was taking French as well,
Yeah.
and I dropped Latin and continued with French, and got enough French so that I didn't have to do any foreign language in college. So, and I had an awful discussion with the Latin head of the department. He said, businessmen come to me saying they're so glad they had Latin. I had enough with 2 years to kind of be familiar with it. So.
But in terms of a dead language, it's dead in the sense that it's not a spoken language anymore. But I wouldn't say it's dead as an important. It's got it has so many useful. It's very useful.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Said in the videos, many people in our community believe that Latin is an important and influential language and understand the positive impact that it has on those who take it. However, we surveyed a few people who thought the opposite. Do you consider Latin to be a dead language?
Yes, because you don't hear it. People don't speak it. You only learn it to learn the basis of other languages. But people don't talk Latin to each other.
Language and culture of Latin is important to learn. Yes.
I can't think of a good reason why. Why would you learn a language you can't converse and practice with anyone?
Beneficial to high school students.
It's beneficial going into the sciences, but if you really want to learn something that's relevant to cultures today, then there are other languages like Spanish or French, or German, or Mandarin that are more relevant.
Thought the opposite. When we heard this, we felt almost as rejected as Cicero when Terentius didn't write him back while he was in exile in Greece. And there's more. One man, who didn't want to be recorded, said that Latin is not useful to learn and not beneficial to high school students. He even said that he considers Latin a dead language because he couldn't think of a reason why it would be useful in everyday life. As Latin students, we disagree for many reasons. Believe it or not, 60% of commonly used English words are derived from Latin. This makes Latin even more beneficial when speaking English. If you know English, then you know that from the word father, you can also get the words fatherhood and fatherly. However, if you know the language Latin, then you know the word pater, meaning father. You can get words such as patriarch, paternal, patriot, patriarchy, compatriot, patronize, and so on. After learning Latin, it is not difficult and commonly done for students to learn any of the other Romance languages, specifically Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, and Romanian.
If a student already knows one of the Romance languages, they can apply that knowledge to Latin because of the many similarities all connecting back to Latin.
On a different note, Latin can actually train your brain to solve complex puzzles simply by using context. Think of Latin like a puzzle. With each word in a sentence, the meaning is depending on the other parts of speech.
When translating a Latin sentence, your brain is dependent on previous doing and you require lots of skills from it. All of this piece connecting can help you become a better problem solver just by thinking, therefore allowing Latin to make you wiser and insightful.
Lastly, learning Latin will help. It is an added bonus for any Latin student.
The reason that Latin helps you on your standardized tests, such as the SATs, is because many of the complex vocabulary actually stems from Latin vocab, as mentioned in the previous reasons. Based on study scores, students who take Latin consistently score higher than the average of all the sections of the ACT. These test
results were even higher than the students who take languages of French, Spanish, German, or Hebrew. We hope that you consider taking the language of Latin because it is very beneficial and can help you in your everyday life.